Hello and welcome back to All the Words She Wrote. Let's see how many pancakes will be consumed this time. But hey, there's no such thing as too many pancakes, right? Breakfast consumed, Hijiri and I wander through the streets without any particular destination in mind. We chat idly as we walk, or rather I chat idly. Hijiri's replies are of the monosyllabic variety, if that, but I don't really mind. I'm still having fun. The streets aren't all that crowded, but neither are they dead. There's a few people dotted here and there, couples hand in hand, homeowners laden with shopping bags, and a young woman pushing along a pram. Conversation hums in the air, mingled with the sounds of footsteps. I inhale, breathing in the scent of pastries from a nearby bakery. It's all very relaxing, almost picturesque. It's the kind of weather that calls for a trip to the beach. I haven't been in ages, not since I was a little kid, and I'm struck with a sudden urge to go again. I wonder if Hijiri would come with me? It seems unlikely, but... Oh! It's as I'm pondering this that something catches my attention. And no, it's not the life-sized Astra standee that's still on display in Kinokuniya. There's a few mannequins on display in the window of a nearby clothes shop, all dolled up for summer. A couple of the mannequins are wearing loose-fitting summer dresses, while the others are showing off swimsuits, perfect for the beach. One-pieces, frilly bikinis, and patterned sarongs tied at the waist. I can't help but pause by the window display, my interest piqued. It seems way too coincidental I'd stumble upon such a sight while thinking about the beach. Wow, what a surprise! A shop offering swimsuits in summer. But okay. Could this be a sign? It's like the universe itself is telling me to drop everything and go to the beach. Of course, I know that logically speaking, this isn't all that strange. It's the middle of summer, making it about the time of year when clothes shops would start pushing their swimwear. But still. Okay, thanks for arguing against me. The timing's too perfect. Hey Hijiri, I just had an idea.
What?
Hijiri frowns. She doesn't look too enthused, but that's nothing new. She never looks enthused.
It had better not be stupid.
Why do you instantly assume what I have to say would be?
Because I know you, maybe.
I feel like I forgot her voice, I'm sorry.
Because I know you, maybe. Most of the things you say are stupid.
Oh, Hijiri. I sigh while resting one hand atop my chest. Are you saying that we're so close, words are no longer necessary between us? Do you really understand me that well?
Words are often unnecessary, yes, when the other person is clinically incapable of saying anything of value.
Ah, of course. Leave it to Hijiri to sever? Oh, what's wrong with me today? To sever all of my silly fancies. It's alright, it's not like I wanted her to love me or anything, idiot. Ugh, I should cut that out, even in the privacy of my own head. I'm starting to sound like Astra.
But fortunately for you, I'm in a magnanimous mood.
This is Hijiri being magnanimous? Magnanimous. Ebi-hime is really challenging me with some of the vocabulary. All the time. If so, I'd hate to see her at her moodiest.
What's this idea of yours, Mayo?
I perk up at this, newly invigorated.
It's a really good idea, I swear. Really now?
Hijiri raises an eyebrow.
Color me intrigued. Do go on. I only hope this is better than the school of literary theory you proposed in Amo Cafe. Otherwise, I'll be very disappointed.
It's way better than stuffy old literary theory, whatever that is. I wasn't even aware I'd proposed any such school. It's not like I want to teach anybody. I'm so not cut out for that. Maybe Hijiri and I got our wires crossed?
I was thinking, wouldn't it be fun if we went to the beach? The beach? Yeah, we could relax in the golden sands, swim in the sea, and eat junk food from the beach stalls.
Doesn't that sound like fun? I expect Hijiri to reject my idea outright. I know she doesn't like people very much, so it comes as something of a surprise when she seems to seriously ponder it.
It's been a long time since I last went to the beach.
Same here. That's why I proposed the idea. That, and I'd like to see Hijiri in anything other than that oversized tracksuit she's always wearing.
The weather's been really nice lately, and it is summer. We should do summery things together, don't you think?
It'd be boring if we were shut up in your house all the time. Not that your house is boring, it's like super big. It's much more interesting than my parents' place. It's just, there's only so much you can do back there. We can go for walks in the woods, but I know you're not into that. The beach would make for a nice change of pace, wouldn't it?
If you're bored after spending only a month in my company, it doesn't bode well for the future. I've lived in that house for over 3 years and I've never once felt the need to venture further afield than Petit Jardin. You have entirely too much energy.
And you don't have enough of it. Those bags under your eyes are scary stuff. You need to get a bit more sunlight.
I find the sunlight rather gauche personally. It's so bright, not to mention hot. Air conditioning is the best of mankind's inventions. Without it, I'd go insane. It's a pity you can't use it outside.
Hijiri sighs.
The beach is a bit of a trek away too. It'll take a couple of hours to get there. I don't know if I want to travel that far for the privilege of getting sunburned.
It'll be fine. I wave one hand empathetically, as though this might be able to brush aside my companion's concerns. I'll apply a bunch of sunscreen to you, so you won't burn up, and I don't mind driving us over there. It'll feel like more of an adventure that way, if we have to work for it. I've never driven quite so far before in all the years I've had my license, but that doesn't bother me. I think I've gotten a bit better at driving recently, and I know you don't improve without practice. It'll be a good learning opportunity. Hijiri, meanwhile, has her reservations.
I'm not sure if I'd feel comfortable sitting with you in the car for quite that long. There would be too many opportunities for things to go awry, and I don't have a swimsuit either. I wouldn't have anything to wear.
Oh, that's easy. They're selling swimsuits over there, look. I gesture to the nearby shop window, at all the featureless mannequins dolled up for the sun and surf. Do you want to go try a few on? You don't need to, come to a decision right away, but I think it'd be a fun way to pass the time.
I'm not sure.
PGD demurs, her fingers still wrapping against the inside of her arm. Is she anxious?
I don't like crowded places. The beach will be packed around this time of the year.
That's fine. I'll protect you.
Like you did in the forest, you mean?
I wince. Good point.
I'm full of them.
Hijiri sighs, her long lashes matting together. Then she inclines her head to look at me, her lips pursed.
I have my reservations about your plan, but I don't suppose there's any harm in looking at the swimsuits for a little while.
Ooh, does it mean you want to go to the beach with me after all?
It means I'm considering it. It's been a while since I went clothes shopping. I don't know much about fashion, and I have no idea what might look good on me. Would you mind joining me? For once, I would appreciate your opinion. You are lacking in many areas, but you at least wear nice clothes. Even I can admit that.
Why, thank you very much. I'm nothing compared to my friend Nina. She's crazy good at coordinating outfits. But I do try. Just leave everything to me. I'll pick you out a super suit. Oh my god, what is happening? Super cute swimsuit. Then you'll have no choice but to go to the beach so you can show it off to everybody.
I don't like showing off. I'd far rather hide away from the general public.
Gee, really? I had no idea.
But if I'm with you...
Hijiri toys with the sleeves of her oversized tracksuit.
Going outside mightn't be so very unbearable after all.
Oh?
I can't believe I let you talk me into this. I must be going soft in my old age.
Nah, your words are plenty piercing. I think you're just sleepy.
And knowing this, you decided to exploit my weakness. That's so underhanded.
Hey, knock it off. I nudge Hijiri in the ribs with my elbow, gently of course. Hijiri might gouge me with her words on a regular basis, but I'm not a sadist, and I have no desire to hurt her. Who would finish up Elforest then? It's important to think about the bigger picture. I didn't do anything bad. I just helped you pick out a swimsuit, like you asked. I think the swimsuit I chose looks nice on you too. It's very stylish.
If you say so.
Hijiri harumphs, the carrier bag containing her new purchase resting upon her lap. The pair of us are sitting on a bench in a small park, not too far away from the main shopping street. It's not a very large park, but nothing is large around here, save the mountains that loom in the distance. There are a lot of trees, though, that provide ample shade from the sun, which is hotter now than it was earlier in the morning. An irregular trickle of people pass by us on the path, mostly dog walkers, though there's a smattering of families out enjoying the sunshine, plus a few couples sharing ice cream cones. Nobody's passed by during the last couple of minutes though. It feels almost like Hijiri and I are alone, tucked away safely among all the trees.
What should I do with this?
Hijiri peers into the carrier bag at her newest acquisition. I peer too, not that I need to. I know full well what that bag contains, and I'm greeted with a flash of white polka dots on pink. I think the swimsuit is very cute at least, even if Hijiri disagrees. Typically, you're supposed to wear swimsuits. It won't get much use if you keep it inside its bag, or crumpled up at the back of your wardrobe.
I know that, genius. I just don't know if I can wear this on my body, not outside. It shows a lot of skin.
I did suggest a few one-piece swimsuits, but you turned them down. You said they looked too childish.
They did look childish. They made me look like I was about to take swimming lessons in the school pool. Maybe I'm not cut out for swimwear.
Why do you say that?
I'm so short.
Hijiri's gaze drops down to her chest.
Flat too. I look like a plywood board, or maybe a teenage boy.
I don't think so. You don't look like anybody or anything other than yourself.
That's easy for you to say when you actually have a figure. You're no magazine model, but you'd never get mistaken for a school kid. I can't stand being so small.
Hijiri. My expression softens. I didn't know that Hijiri had a complex about her appearance, but it goes a long way to explaining her fashion sense, or lack of. Why would she take a vested interest in clothes when she can't stand the sight of her own body? Those oversized tracksuits cover her up pretty effectively, but I doubt that doing her any favors. Hijiri's favorite tracksuit is so big it only serves to emphasize how petite she is beneath all of that loose fabric. You might not like the way you look, but I'm sure other women would be super envious of your figure.
Why?
Hijiri snorts, then sets the carrier bag down beside her on the wooden slats of the bench.
It's hard to find clothes that fit me, and people often talk down to me like I'm a child. They act like I'm some small, precious creature that needs to be protected. It's so frustrating. I'm almost 30.
I get that. Not that I've ever experienced such a thing. But you know how it is. The grass is always greener. One person's unfortunate reality is another person's ideal and all that. It's like big chests. Lots of women want to go up a cup size or two, but women who actually have big chests always complain about how hard it is to find clothes that fit, or back pains, or whatever. I'm basing this observation on Nina, who complains about her chest on the regular. I think you look fine the way you are, but I do get where you're coming from. We all have our hang-ups. I don't like my nose that much, for example.
Your nose.
Hijiri peers at my face, her brow furrowed.
What's wrong with it? It looks like an ordinary nose to me.
Right? I grin. It looks normal to you and everyone else, 'cause you don't stare at it in the mirror all the time like I do. Your height's the same. It's annoying for you since you have to live with it, but I bet most people wouldn't give you a second glance.
Well, maybe. I'm still not sure if I want to wear the swimsuit, but...
Hijiri yawns, tears beating in her eyes.
If you say it looks good, I'll try to trust you. You know more about clothes than I care to. I think it's all a waste of time, really.
What about Elf Forest's artist?
What about her?
She's really into clothes, isn't she? I follow her on social media, and she's always posting photos of her outfits. Don't you ever talk about your character's design with her?
Not really. I just let her get on with it. I don't really care what my characters look like. I'm more interested in their personalities, their motivations, things like that. I know my publishers care though. My readers too. Light novels are sold on the backs of their cute female characters after all. I know that, but...
Hijiri yawns again. Her head droops, her eyes half-lidded. Hijiri's been tired since this morning, but I think her fatigue is finally starting to catch up with her. She finished up her black coffee a good hour ago, and she's had a strenuous session of trying on and discarding swimsuits since then at my behest. It's no wonder she looks so sleepy. She sounds it too. She's starting to slur her words.
I wanted to write something a little more serious than that. I'd rather tell stories based on my talents as a writer, not the cuteness of my characters. But you might be right. Cuteness is all that matters. To most people, at least. Jeez.
Hijiri yawns again, then shakes her head.
I don't know what's come over me. I can't stop babbling. Just ignore me. Nope, no can do.
I grin, then poke Hijiri in the side. I could never ignore you. I'm your #1 fan after all. And I'm also your friend.
That's right. What a pain.
I'm a pain?
All the time. But I think I've learned to live with it. You frustrate me at times, but I suppose you're not all bad.
Hijiri yawns, her eyes fall shut, her long lashes matting together, and this time she doesn't open them. Her body shifts sideways, and then her head stops to rest upon my shoulder. Has she fallen asleep? Hijiri? Hey, Hijiri! I call Hijiri's name, but she doesn't stir. Her eyelashes don't even flicker. I guess that black coffee wasn't enough. I giggle softly to myself so as not to wake her. She looks so peaceful. I'd hate to disturb her slumber. We'll have to head back home at some point, but there's nothing pressing that we need to attend to. For now, I'm content to sit upon this bench, beneath the shade of all these trees, listening to the regular sound of Hijiri's breathing. Hijiri's chest rises and falls at regular intervals, and warm air falls from her pursed lips. I can feel her breath on my neck, so intimate it makes me shiver. Hijiri has never been this close to me before. She's always kept a distance, both mentally and physically. I think the gap between us is beginning to shrink now, though. This could be a moment of weakness of Hijiri's part, of course, never to be repeated, but I'd like to believe that this marks a turning point in our relationship. I think that Hijiri might be beginning to trust me. A few days pass, during which little of note occurs. Hijiri consents to eating her meals in the living room with me, which is a marked improvement over her previous self-imposed isolation, but she doesn't mention my proposed trip to the beach. I tried to broach the subject a few times, but Hijiri dismisses me with a curt,
"We can go there if I feel like it."
As time wears on, I begin to wonder whether Hijiri will ever feel like it. It seems doubtful. Hijiri can be awfully stubborn. I'm afraid that the cute polka dot bikini of hers, which I took such pains to pick out, will go unworn and unloved at the bottom of her wardrobe. But during the first week of August, Hijiri surprises me.
"It's far too hot."
Hijiri grouses while slumped at the living room table, her cheek pressed against the smooth, lacquered wood.
"I can't think like this. I can't live like this. Not even the AC is enough to cool me down. I need to get out of this miserable village before I go nuts. Maybe the trip to the beach you suggested would make for a nice change of pace after all."
And so it is with this begrudging announcement that I set my plans in motion. I look up directions to the nearest beach, which, as per Hijiri's earlier remark, is a good 3 hours away. The distance doesn't bother me though, not when I'll be able to spend a full day in Hijiri's oh-so-charming company. I try on my own swimsuit that evening to check whether it still fits. It does, thank goodness. Then set about preparing a basket with all the bits and pieces we'll need for our venture. I pack us a couple of towels, a few bottled drinks, and some sunscreen. That bottle of sunscreen comes as a surprise. I didn't think Hijiri would own any, given she hardly ever goes outside. When does she have a chance to use it? It should be put to good use during our beach trip at least, alongside that cute bikini I picked out. I can't wait. Well, I also have sunscreen that I barely use because I hardly go outside. And end up when I know I will be going outside in the summer, or maybe even go swimming, I usually have to go buy a new bottle of sunscreen because the one I used like 2 years before is already expired. Oh well. I wake up early the following morning, quivering with excitement, and while away my time with a few simple chores. I don't bother rousing Hijiri until 8. I doubt she'll be responsive before then, our impending trip to the beach notwithstanding. If there's anything Hijiri likes more than pancakes, it's insulting me. And if there's anything she likes more than that, it's her own bed. It takes a bit of effort to wake Hijiri up, but the promise of homemade pancakes finally compels her to crawl out from under her covers. I whip up a few golden brown pancakes for the both of us while she's getting changed, into another oversized tracksuit of course, then serve them to her in the living room, complete with sticky maple syrup. Of course there's more pancakes. I swear I didn't know, but oh well. Eat up! We've a busy day ahead of us. Hijiri is so sleepy she doesn't say much during breakfast. She's still focused on trying to guide her speared bits of pancake into her mouth as opposed to her cheek. Breakfast consumed, I washed the dishes in double quick time, then head to the car, where Hijiri is already waiting. The drive to the nearest seaside town progresses smoothly enough, despite a whole bunch of, very literal, bumps in the road. I swear these countryside roads are death traps. They're very thin and they snake through the mountains like, well, snakes, or maybe lengths of string. They might have been built with convenience in mind, but their age is starting to show. When were they last serviced? I guess it's not high on the prefectural government to-do list, given how few people live around these parts, but it ticks me off. I took nice, smooth roads for granted back when I lived in Kawasaki. Not that I ever utilized those roads. I didn't have a car of my own back then. Public transport was too convenient not to use. The countryside really is a whole different world. The road evens out a little, thank goodness, when it joins into the highway. There are more cars round here to contend with, but the roads are mostly straight, which makes them way easier to navigate. Hijiri and I eventually arrive at our destination, after a bit of backtracking. I might have gotten a little lost during the last leg of our journey, at around 11:30. I park our car up by the ocean, then head out onto the beach, my arms outstretched to greet the sunshine. We're finally here! It's the beach!
I'm aware of that fact, yes.
Hijiri slinks along behind me like an ill-tempered cat, her arms folded. So in that regard, I guess she isn't that much like a cat. Cats, as far as I know, can't fold their arms. Well, I mean, sometimes when they sit in their little loaf position and have their arms crossed a little, it looks like they do, don't they? You know what I mean.
You don't need to shout about it. It's not that special. There are dozens, no, hundreds of beaches just like this one across Japan. We do live on an island, remember?
I know, but come on. Can't you be a little more enthusiastic?
I'm not enthusiastic about anything.
What about pancakes?
They are the exception to the rule. And the beach? If it doesn't taste good with syrup, I couldn't care less.
But it's like so pretty. Hijiri harumphs and turns her nose up in the air.
You might be easily impressed, but it'll take more than a bit of sand to turn my head.
Now you're being petty. There's not just a bit of sand out here, there's loads and loads of it.
And I imagine when we get back home, we'll be finding loads and loads of sand in our shoes too.
Hijiri nudges a nearby sand dune disconsolately.
It has a nasty habit of getting everywhere.
Well, it will if you kick it like that. I smile, then shake my head. Sometimes I find it hard to believe that you're the person who created Princess Ludena. She's so sweet and optimistic, and you're so...
cold and callous and loveless.
I wasn't going to use those exact words.
But you were thinking them?
Such unflattering terms might have crossed my mind once or twice.
I knew it.
Hijiri folds her arms.
I suppose I should thank you for being honest with me. I'm well aware that I'm a husk of a human.
Only an attitude. In terms of appearances, you're way too cute to be a husk. I grin, then scan the beach, one hand held out to my brow. Hijiri might not think much of our new surroundings, but I think the beach looks charming. This beach is almost like something from a travel brochure, though it's a little smaller than something you'd expect to find out in, say, Okinawa, not that I've ever been there. The sand is golden, as is the sunlight, and the azure ocean is crystal clear. It's still pretty early in the morning, but this beach seems like a relatively popular destination. There's quite a few people here already, relaxing beneath parasols speared into the sand. A group of tanned girls, I think they might be high school students, are playing an enthusiastic game of beach volleyball by the shore, and a few kids are busy piling sand up into a rather impressive sand structure, maybe? They're probably building a castle, but it's so lopsided I can't quite tell. They're giving it their all though, which is what truly matters. I cheer them inside my heart, like I'm at a superhero show. You can do it. I believe in you. Ah, it's such a nice day. I inhale deeply. The scent of the salty sea air tickles my nostrils, and my hair flutters about my shoulders. I've been cooped up in that car for way too long. I think I'm gonna strip off my clothes and go for a swim. I wore my swimsuit underneath my clothes for this very purpose. It's easy for me to shimmy out of my skirt and shirt to reveal my swimsuit underneath. I'm wearing a bikini I picked up a while back from some boutique in Tokyo. I bought it on a whim, though I've never had the chance to actually use it. I'm glad this beach trip has given me an excuse to put it on. For a piece that covers so little skin, it sure was expensive. But no, now's not the time to think about price tags. I came here to have fun, gosh darn it. So, what do you think? I turn this way and that, like a model at a photo shoot. My bikini is black, which might be a little too gothic for my liking, but all the cute frills make up for it. This bikini shows off quite a bit of skin, but it's not overly skimpy. It should be perfect for the warm weather. Hijiri, however, looks less than impressed. She's frowning, her lips pursed, in that quintessentially Hijiri-esque manner of hers. Sometimes I forget she has the ability to make other expressions with that stony countenance of hers. She really is like a Jesus statue.
It's fine, I guess.
Only fine?
It's a swimsuit. What more do you want me to say?
Hijiri shrugs.
I don't know anything about fashion. I've told you this numerous times. If you want a proper opinion, you'd be better off asking Alforest's artist.
Do you talk to her very often? Didn't you ask that before?
Not if I can help it.
Don't you get along?
We're quite different.
Because you're a writer and she's an artist?
That, and she's very cheerful. I meanwhile, am a loveless husk.
I never said that.
You didn't disagree with my assessment of my character, though.
Hijiri sighs, then presses one hand to her brow.
Goodness, it's hot. I was going to keep my tracksuit on, but...
Hijiri glances about surreptitiously, then begins to strip. She pulls down the baggy pants of her tracksuit, then unzips her jacket, but she doesn't cast it aside. I can see the top of Hichidi's polka-dot swimsuit peeking out from between her jersey, and a flash of smooth brown skin, but her arms remain draped in folds of fabric. It seems like a bit of a shame. Aren't you taking the rest off? Hichidi shakes her head.
I'll burn without it.
Even with the sunscreen? Hichidi and I took care to coat our skin in sticky sunscreen back in the car before we subjected ourselves to the sun's UV rays.
Even so, I'm pretty delicate.
Well, I can believe that.
Hey!
Hichidi scolds.
You were just thinking about how small I am, weren't you?
Oops, guilty as charged. How can I worm my way out of this? Maybe some good old-fashioned denial will do the trick? No, I wasn't.
You definitely were. It's not even up for debate. I can read you like a book.
Darn, it doesn't look like Hichidi's buying it. Am I really that transparent?
You're incredibly transparent. It's a wonder you even bother trying to lie your way out of things. You'd make a truly awful stockbroker. Not in the least because you know nothing of mathematics.
Hichidi bends as she speaks to extricate one of the beach towels from the hamper I brought with me. She spreads it on the golden sand beneath a parasol, then sinks down upon it.
Oopsie daisy.
Hey, that was pretty cute. I do have a question though. Don't you want to come swimming with me?
Does it look like I want to go swimming?
Not particularly, no.
Then there's your answer. I can't stand all that splashing about. It's exhausting.
I take it you don't like swimming then?
Not at all.
Hichi's quick reply doesn't come as much of a surprise. I should have expected as much really, given her general aversion to all forms of physical activity.
I hated swimming lessons in high school. They were nothing but exercises in misery. I could swim well enough, but I was never very good at it. My limbs aren't long enough. The other girls all outpaced me. Some of them laughed at me. It was humiliating.
Hichidi grits her teeth together.
I doubt swimming in the open, surrounded by strangers, would make for a better experience. It sounds like my very own circle of hell. It wouldn't be hot or cold, but wet.
Hell, huh? I smile, amused. I think you might be exaggerating just a little. It's not like you'll be crushed by burning rocks or eaten by demonic animals. But if you don't want to swim, I won't try to force you. What are you going to do in the meantime?
Exist.
Anything else?
Exist in the sun.
You're not being very descriptive here.
Goodness me, I apologize. I didn't know you required me to schedule my free time down to the second.
Hichidi rolls her eyes upwards to the shaded underside of the flower-shaped parasol.
I know I've told you this before, but you don't need to fuss. I brought a few books with me I've been meaning to work through, and if they don't catch my attention, I can always have a nap. The sound of the waves is rather soothing.
The dull sound of a volleyball being smacked carries over to us in the breeze, mingled with the cawing of the gulls and the petulant cries of a whiny child.
Though the other noises I can hear are less so.
Do you want to move the blanket?
It's fine. I can drown the noise out. You go and have fun now.
Hijiri makes a dismissive shooing gesture with her hand.
Go on, roam free. The world is your oyster.
I feel a bit bad about leaving Hijiri behind, but if she really doesn't mind, then...
Alright, I'll see you later. You too. Break a leg, but not literally. I wouldn't want you to get hurt.
Is that because you care about me?
Sure, that too. But it would be rather hard for you to drive us back home with one leg out of commission. That's a hassle I could do well enough without.
Oh, so that's what you meant. I guess that'll teach me to get my hopes up. Okay then. I mean, of course you shouldn't force her to swim, especially if she doesn't like it in front of other people, but I would think even if you don't like swim, like, I don't know what the term is in English, but just cool off in the water. I mean, isn't that the whole point? Or the major point of going to the beach or to the pool in the summer, to cool off? That you can still do, but of course if she doesn't want to. I've also been wondering if maybe she keeps her jacket on because she has a scar from the accident or something, but maybe we'll see about that later. I don't know. Just a guess. I spend a few hours amusing myself on the beach, splashing about in the surf. When I tire of that, I surface and get embroiled on building a sandcastle with a few kids. These kids seem to look up to me for some reason. They're so enamored. They even start calling me teacher. It's actually pretty cute. Hijiri doesn't seem to care for kids, which is funny, given she's not that much taller than your average 6th grader, but I've always been fond of them. They're not as judgmental as adults can be, and they're way more effusive with their praise. I can't imagine Hijiri ever asking me for advice, much as calling me teacher. She just insults me all the time. Hijiri has an awfully sharp tongue, despite her soft features, but I think she's enjoying herself regardless. I pad over to Hijiri once I've tired myself out, my bare toes curling in the warm sand, and take a seat beside her on the beach towel. How are you doing, Hijiri?
About the same as I was when you last asked. Oh, let's see.
Hijiri fishes in her pocket for her phone. It's an old model, practically antiquated, and she has to flip it to see the screen. She turns the phone on with a deft press of a button. It still works, despite its advanced age, and checks the time.
1 hour and 46 minutes ago.
Have I been playing for that long?
Mm-hmm.
Hijiri nods almost imperceptibly, then stashes her flip phone back into the pocket of her jersey.
I made a note of it.
Really now? I grin, then nudge Hijiri in the side with my elbow. Did you miss me that much?
Hardly.
Weren't you jealous that I was out having fun? I helped these kids build this really cool sandcastle, you see?
Really?
Hijiri raises an eyebrow.
Good for you.
Don't you want to see it?
Not so much that I would be willing to leave the shade of this parasol, no. All the sun is bad for my skin.
Boo. I pout. You're such a party pooper.
I wasn't aware that this was a party. I just want to relax, which is hard to do, I might add, given you won't stop talking.
I was just, giving you a status report.
Which I didn't ask for. But I must confess, I am somewhat curious. Can you point your castle out for me? I want to see the fruits of your labor.
Alright. I beam, happy to have, sort of, secured Hichiri's interest. It's such a fleeting thing, I know I shouldn't take it for granted. It's a bit far away, but I think you should be able to see my castle. It's right over...
Over?
Hichiri looks at me askance, but for once I can't bring myself to reply. I'm too busy staring at the impressive sandcastle I helped those kids build. It was impressive once, at least, but now...
Hey, Mayo, are those boys kicking down the castle you made?
A trio of kids who look to be about 7 or 8 are making short work of my castle. They stand around it in a circle, kicking holes through its walls, granules of sand exploding, then collapsing beneath the sunlight. It took almost an hour to build up that castle, but it's taken these boys less than a minute to destroy it. I only took my eyes off it for a few minutes, and it's already been reduced to a lumpy heap of misshapen sand.
Hey! Who do you think they are?
Who do they think they are? Jeez. I spring to my feet, incensed, my fingers clenched into fists. I worked hard to build that, damn it. They ought to be taught a lesson.
Yes, why don't you do that? Be as thorough as you wish. I want to finish reading this chapter of my book.
Right. I stalk forwards, my eyes narrowed with laser-like intensity.
I'm going to make those brats rue the day they ever crossed me. Do your best. I'll be cheering you on from here, but don't go too crazy. I'm not going to bail you out if you get detained by the police.
Oh boy. In the end, I never get a chance to confront these 3 hoodlums. They bolt the moment I approach them, all laughing, before I can lay into them. That casts something of a pall on the day, but I shake it off soon enough. It's not like it matters overly much, it's only a sandcastle. It's kinda sad it got destroyed in such a tragic manner, but the sea would have washed it away eventually, even without any outside intervention. I'm too mature to hold a grudge about something so trivial. And no, I'm not just telling myself this to stop myself getting angry. I don't care at all. I'm totally over it. I'm so totally over it, in fact, I spent the next 10 minutes scanning the beach trying to locate these irritating brats without much success. I have no idea where they could have gotten to. I guess I've no choice but to let it go. I flattened the rest of the castle myself, seeing it in its half-destroyed state is far too depressing, which is surprisingly hungry work. It's a little after midday by this point, and I'm starved. No longer able to endure the rumbling of my stomach, I ask Hijiri if she wants to get some food. Hijiri agrees, her head buried in her book. Though when I ask what she wants, her reply is a haughty,
"Why does it matter? It'll all be terrible. That's the way with these beachside stalls."
She's not exactly wrong about that, but her lack of enthusiasm is a bit disheartening. Oh well, I'm enthused even if Hijiri isn't. I have a bit of a soft spot for beachside yakisoba. It's been ages since I had a steaming batch of slightly burnt, sauce-drenched noodles. I buy a couple of servings of yakisoba from the nearest stall, alongside a couple of drinks, and carry them back to my apathetic goddess. "Here you are, Hijiri. The food's ready."
That's good timing. I just finished this chapter and I was starting to get hungry.
Hijiri says, but her voice trails off once she sees the state of the noodles I hand to her, heaped up inside the styrofoam container. Her nose wrinkles.
Then again, maybe not. My appetite mightn't be as voracious as I thought.
No? I look at Hijiri askance after swallowing a mouthful of my own yakisoba. It's not lacking in flavor, but therein lies the problem. It has way too much of it. The noodles are crispy to the point of being burned, and the sauce it's slathered in is super thick. This yakisoba is definitely mediocre. In fact, it might be a notch or two worse than that, but it's not inedible. It's kind of nostalgic, actually. It reminds me of trips to the beach with my own family. Don't you want your noodles?
Want is a very strong word. I'd far rather eat the pancakes at Petit Jardin or your cooking, but I suppose you get what you pay for. This is the best one can expect from a beachside eatery. Really though.
Hijiri sniffs at her noodles, her nose twitching like a small rabbit's.
You'd think they could put in at least a modicum of effort. These noodles are positively dripping in oil.
Now, since when were you such a health nut? You'd live on sweets if I let you.
There's nothing unusual about that. Sweets are, as the name suggests, sweet. They actually taste good. These noodles, however...
Don't knock them till you've tried them. Give them a chance.
Like I did with you mean?
Hijiri smiles, albeit slightly.
It is true, I can be too hasty in my judgments, but I don't think I'm in the wrong here. The way these noodles look tells me all I need to know about them. I suppose I'll eat them though, if I must. It would be a waste not to after you bought them for me. It was very thoughtful of you.
Don't mention it.
I won't.
Hijiri balances the container of yakisoba on her knees, then splits apart her disposable chopsticks. She doesn't manage to do it cleanly, and half of the left stick comes away with the right.
Ugh.
She pouts.
That's bad luck.
Do you believe in stuff like that?
Not particularly. My grandparents used to though. They were quite superstitious. Let us hope I haven't inadvertently doomed us. I wouldn't want this day to end in disaster.
I think the disaster's already struck. My poor castle was obliterated.
Oh, yes, that is true. Then we have nothing to fear, other than these terrible noodles, that is.
They're really not that bad.
Do you really think I can trust you? You're like elf forest.
Lots of people like elf forest. Apart from its creator, apparently.
I wouldn't trust any of them either. Not that they matter. You're here and they're not. Thank goodness. One elf forest fan is more than enough for me to contend with. Now, let me try some of these noodles.
Hitidi pinches a few burnt, oily strands of yakisoba beneath her disposable chopsticks, then brings them to her lips. She blows on her wad of noodles, then pops them inside her mouth and chews. I watch Hitidi expectantly, all while balancing my own container of yakisoba on my bare knees.
So, how is it?
Do you like it?
It's edible at least, but that's the highest praise I can offer the slop. Slop, huh? That's pretty harsh. Trash then. Is that better? No, I think that's worse. Goodness me, you're so picky.
The only picky one here is you.
I'm not the one with a problem here. The true issue is you, Mayo. You have no standards. I'm amazed you're so skilled at cooking yourself, given you eat trash like this.
So, she's decided to settle on trash, huh? That makes slop sound charitable. It's a good thing we're far away enough from the beach stall that the aged woman I bought these noodles from can't hear us. I think her poor heart would break. Then again, maybe not. She didn't look super enthused when she was frying up my order. I think she might have coughed over our noodles too. What? I'll not mention that to Ichidi. Then she really might throw these noodles into the nearest trash can, provided she has enough energy, of course, to get up and look for one.
These noodles aren't very appetizing, but they won't kill me, I suppose. I can keep eating them if you promise you'll make me something nicer to eat when we return home.
Of course, you can count on me. A small silence passes between us, broken by the distant rolling of the waves. Hichiri looks down at her yakisoba, all heaped up in its container. Her expression is pensive, unaltered by the salty sea breeze which stirs her hair. She blinks. Then... A small smile rises to her lips.
I was skeptical about such words when first we met, but now I think you might be right. Your ideas aren't always the best. This yakisoba is the evidence of that. But despite that, I don't dislike spending time with you.
Hichidi raises her head. Her eyes meet mine, and as they do, her smile widens.
I think I can trust you after all.
Today was a blast. Don't you think so, Hichidi? I'm sitting behind Hichidi on her bed, running a brush through her loose tresses. Hichidi, meanwhile, is sitting in front of me, cross-legged, hands in her lap. Her head is bowed, her loose hair parted, the nape of her neck exposed. It's been a few hours since we got back from the beach, and the sky outside Hichidi's bedroom window, not that I can see it, given her curtains are drawn, is dusky black. It's 10:04 precisely, according to the digital clock on Hichidi's bedside table. I can't believe it's gotten so late. I guess it's true what they say. Time really does fly when you're having fun. I had fun at least. But what about Hijiri? I'm curious. She hasn't said much since we left the beach. She was almost silent during the car journey back and at the dinner table. Is she alright? Hijiri? I prompt her, the silence too excessive for comfort. You did have fun, didn't you?
I suppose that depends on your definition of fun. It made a nice change from the norm, I suppose, but there were a few too many screaming children for my liking. It was hard to concentrate on my book.
I'm sorry to hear that, but I hope it wasn't a total wash.
Not totally, no. The beach was far too crowded, not to mention hot, and the food was questionable.
I can't argue with that. Even I have to admit that the yakisoba we sampled was on the iffy side.
But it has been a long while since last I went to the beach. It's almost comforting, in a way, to know that things haven't changed very much. It reminded me of my childhood, when my father was still around.
Oh? I still the regular movements of the brush through Hijiri's curls, my fingers poised in midair. I don't think Hijiri meant to let that breadcrumb slip. She rarely talks about her family, but it doesn't escape my attention. I know so little about Hijiri's past, I can't help but be intrigued by it. Since I'm Hijiri's friend, I want to get to know her better. And if I'm being honest, I'm a pretty nosy person. Don't you see your father anymore? Hijiri exhales.
Just you to pick up on that. I was just thinking aloud, really, but yes, you'd be correct in that assessment. I haven't seen my father in quite some time.
I see. That, sounds tough?
Not really. He left when I was young. I didn't get a chance to know him all that well. My parents got divorced, and after that my mother changed my family name to hers, not his. I don't even have to remember him. I don't even have that to remember him by. Not that I'm too cut up about it. I don't miss my father all that much. He doesn't matter. He matters so very little, in fact, I don't see the point in talking about him. This is a waste of time.
I get that this is an uncomfortable topic Hijiri mightn't want to discuss, but something about her tone doesn't sit right with me. Isn't that kind of callous? He is your dad, after all.
He is my father indeed, though whether he deserves that title is questionable. He never acted very much like a father to me. He has no bearing at all on my current life in any case, so I try not to think about him too much. You should do the same. It's not a pleasant topic.
Hijiri's voice is cool and, on the surface, unconcerned, but I can detect a note of tension in it. I think I must have made her angry, and for once, I can understand why. Me and my big mouth. I should probably learn to keep it shut in the future. Right. I'm sorry. I resume brushing Hijiri's hair. The tines of the brush scrape against the nape of Hijiri's neck, so she shivers. I hope I didn't upset you?
It's fine.
Are you sure? Hijiri nods.
I should have known that you'd ask questions. That's just the way you are.
I know I'm pretty nosy.
You are, yes, though I don't suppose I minded too much. In the beginning, I found your incessant interest in me and my life irritating, but now I know you only pry because you care about me. You want me to be happy, don't you?
Of course I do. That's what I want more than anything.
More than you want Itsuki to end up with Princess Luluna?
Even more than that, yeah.
I'll hold you to that.
Hijiri laughs quietly. It's such a rare sound coming from her. It takes me a few moments to identify it. Hijiri's face is often devoid of emotion, her eyes cold and flinty, her lips drawn into an uncompromising line. But Hijiri isn't, contrary to all outward appearances, a stone statue. Hijiri's a person with a whole wealth of feelings. She just prefers to keep them hidden. She's full of mysteries. I wonder if that's why I feel so drawn to her. I feel compelled to try and unearth some of these hidden feelings of hers. And no, it isn't just because she's Tsuchimi Rui, the author of my favorite series. It's because she's Komikado Hijiri, and I care about her. I care about her more than I ever thought I would.
Thank you for thinking about me, Mayo.
Hijiri says gently, once her laughter has abated.
It's nice having somebody around like you. I know you've been working hard to make me happy, though I don't often comment on it, and...
Hijiri glances at me from over her shoulder, her wavy curls fluttering, and offers me a smile so sweet, it almost stops my heart.
I really do appreciate it.
I spent the rest of the hot, hazy summer in Hijiri's company, whiling away the time in fistfuls. Hijiri prefers to remain indoors, but with a bit of coaxing, I'm able to prise her from a comfort zone. We don't go on any trips quite so far afield as our jaunt to the beach, but we do go on regular walks in the woods. I find them relaxing, though Hijiri continues to attract mosquitoes. They must find her particularly delicious. Maybe Hijiri's blood really is sweeter than an average human's. Could that be attributed to all the pancakes she consumes? I'm almost tempted to test out my own hypothesis. Just kidding. Speaking of Hijiri's love for sweets, we stopped by Amu Cafe thrice more during August. Hijiri has become something of a fan, despite her misgivings about the cafe's overly cheery, Hijiri says, owner. After eating our pancakes, we wander aimlessly through the town. We peruse the streets, looking for small, independently owned shops, and chance upon an old antique store stocked full of curious wares. We eat ice cream, shield ourselves from the sun beneath the trees in the park, and once we even pay a visit to a betting center. Hijiri doesn't play any baseball herself, she doesn't like sports, but she's content to cheer me on from the sidelines. The days run by in a blur, and soon August flies away from me. It came and went so quickly, it leaves me feeling dazed. September encroaches upon us, and with it comes the fall. The weather takes a decidedly chilly turn, though the sun remains high in the sky, shrouded now by clouds. The release date for Volume 9 of Elf Forest is drawing ever nearer. Naturally, I'm excited. I've been looking forward to it for a long time. I can't wait to find out what happens with Itsuki and Princess Ludona's relationship, not to mention Luce's supposed betrayal. Part of me regrets, however, that the summer should come to so abrupt an ending. I've been living with Hijiri for close to 3 months. We got off to an unsteady start, but we've since come to an understanding. Hijiri isn't just my employer, and neither is she my idol. She's my dear friend, and I really do love spending time with her. I love being with her so much. In fact, I think I might enjoy her company more than I love the prospect of reading Elf Forest's newest volume. I really have come to care for her a lot. Well, what a surprise. Though I am surprised this with a time jump, I guess. I thought it would take place only in the summer. But of course we're talking slower here. But I think that is enough for today. And we're going to continue next time. A lot of pancakes and a beach episode today. Yay! So, yeah. Are we really going to see the release of the next volume next time? We'll see. Until then, bye bye!